Vishnu, Vadaya, Krishna, Krishnaya, Bhutale, Srimate, Bhakti, Vedanta, Swami, Iti, Namine, Namaste, Saraswati, Deve, Gaura, Vani, Pracharine, Nirvishesha, Shunyavadi, Vaskyaja, Desha, Karine, Jaya, Shri, Krishna, Chaitanya, Prabhu, Nityananda, Shri Advaita, Gadadhara, Srivasadi, Gaura, Bhakta, Vrinda, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Thank you very much. Give yourselves a hand for that. That was very nice. Thanks for all the chanters. So we'd like to congratulate this wonderful family that has put this all together, this great facility. Vishal, Yashamati, parents, grandchildren, etc. Whatever. Haribol. What a wonderful job. And this is like a little retreat center, that's the way I said. Not even little, that's a lie. Quite colossal, if I might say. And all had humble beginnings, the house over there. Did I point in the right direction? Yes, ma'am. The little farmhouse there. Some of you have been there before, you know. And a barn that's not there anymore. It's in the avyakta stage. Unmanifest, but has been re-manifested over here. Yeah, beautiful. So a place for cows, horses, and of course people. Hare Krishna. Most very important element. So one thing that I've been sort of admiring for the last little while is just this picture here. How did you do it? Did you paint that overnight or? Okay. Anyways, I think it's beautiful. Let's glance at it a little bit, because I asked Vishal, what do you want me to talk about? What would be the highlight? And he said, talk about cows. Okay. So I will say a little bit about that. But I think it's a little, anybody who knows me, when we talk about cows, should not forget the bulls, otherwise we're sexist. That's the fact, I'm sorry. So you can't have cows without bulls, and you can't have bulls without cows. You know, just think they go hand in hand. And you know, from the very start, what was that? 6 years ago? You know,
2016, 8 years ago.
Okay, 8 years ago. I was not far off the mark. Beautiful development is taking place here, and I remember the first year that the family landed here. There was the house, of course, and the barn, which was a little bit dilapidated, and some potatoes, you know, so aloo, just kind of popped out of nowhere, right?
We grew them in the field there.
They were just, and they were so, when our mother, Yashamati, she actually got in the garage, and there was like a big wok, and I'm not sure what oil you used, we won't get into that, but those potatoes, organic, they were so tasty, offered to Krishna, of course, just so wonderful. And that's one of the features of this place. The plan is to have really nice prasadam, right? Good. And of course, most of you have had a chance to meet their cows and the horses. You know, horses are very much a big part of our tradition. Is anybody familiar with this here? Yeah, you've seen this before? We got one girl that's seen it before. Out of the whole bunch of us. Okay. Two young ones, yeah, good. Horses play a big part in Krishna's life, And by the way, Krishna and Balaram are here, and most of you have had a chance to go to the holy land of Vrindavan and Ramanriti, which is a sandy land. Sandy land. I didn't know what kind of rhymes poetically. And this is where Krishna and Balaram had roamed in that particular district, where they had enjoyed a lot of beautiful pastimes as children. And this is really incredible, how they looked after this many cows. That's really incredible. We're talking about in the millions. That's what the Krishna book tends to indicate, and the Bhagavatam. Okay, well, I'll pass you the microphone after. But so many cows they were responsible for, especially the calves. And what's really nice about what has just transpired here is like a recreation of Little Vrindavan here. It's a duplication. That's what we're trying to do. Most of you have been to New Vrindavan in West Virginia? I believe so. Good. I just like to ask questions, so we have a chance to do a few things here like that. And Prabhupada just had the same idea that this is Vrindavan, but it's in America. Now we have Vrindavan, which is in Canada, right? Isn't it? Hare Krishna. Long time coming, and the only thing that's missing is Radhakund and Shyamakund. Is that part of the list? Wish list?
I don't know, Maharaj.
We're not sure about that one. We'll have a talk a little later on. And it's beautiful plans for this. We're talking about numbers here, and in terms of this time of the year, people are looking at numbers for book distribution, saying these are like bricks of gold. They even look like that, don't they? The color and everything. This means so much to so many people around the world. And on the planet Earth, there's 1 billion strong of people who believe in Bhagavad Gita, are followers on one form or another. That's a real big number for us. And it is our hope and our wish and our goal that we can distribute a lot of these books so people can benefit from them. There's some bestseller books on the planet. Of course, the Bible's way up there in the numbers, and I can't remember. Do you remember, Radha Moore? Some of the best-selling? The Diary of Anne Frank is a big one.
I just remember the Gideon Bibles,
Gideon Bibles especially. That's way up there.
Million.
Right.
In
wow.
millions.
In the millions, so.
Billions.
Billions. Okay, so we have a lot of catching up to do. But that really is now a part of our culture. Our culture is to share wisdom. To put it simply, we have a lot of sharing. That's what our culture is all about. We share wisdom, we share prasadam, of course, and we share the sacred sound, which was so nicely executed by devotees who were up on the stage here. And also to give a lot of love, to show good examples on what it means to be a Vaishnava. That's what the people really need now. Is good examples, good role models, and show the world that we have something. Prabhupada was with us, he was in our midst, and some of us were around during this time, right? How many people had a chance to see him personally? Anybody? Anybody have a chance to talk to him? I didn't, I was just too scared, just too shy. Prabhupada, when he came to Toronto twice, that's 75, 76, he had a lot of senior people around him, sannyasis, the guys with the sticks, And they were senior to me, older than me, and they had more experience than I did. They joined before I did. I was so shy to say anything to him. I wouldn't dare to ask. I'd probably stutter. Prabhupada, and then everyone would probably look at you. What does he have to say? I wouldn't dare. Let everyone else do the talking. And one thing that I found to be really important, because people ask me sometimes, well, didn't you miss out then? And it was always my understanding that, you get Prabhupada's mercy comes through his devotees. So for me, it was like the temple presidents, my senior god brothers and god sisters. They had a special tie-in with him, I felt. And whatever they asked me to do, I would just try to follow. I said, mercy flows through this parampara, this disciplic succession, which is addressed in the 4th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Evam parampara praptam imam Maharaj'S vidu, like that. So, although I didn't have that chance to really sit down with him and be in a room next to him, or be right in his close vicinity, I didn't really have that opportunity. But I did have a chance to, because I was learning how to cook. The first time I cooked dal was for him. I was in Atlanta, Georgia. I was in Atlanta, and the cook there on that place, maybe some of you've been there, Ponce de Leon, on that avenue, nice section of Atlanta, Georgia, and Prabhupada was there in February of 1975, and he was there during the time of Bhaktisiddhanta's appearance day, so that's quite a while back. And it was during Prabhupada's day that the local cook said, I need someone who will cook dal for Prabhupada. And no one else put their hands up. And we were part of a traveling party from Canada going to the south. We just happened to follow, our route was wherever Prabhupada was going, we just followed him like that. So I just kind of shyly put in my hand, maybe I could take a crack at it. Okay? I'd only done sabjis and rices and chapatis and a few other sweets prior to this. I'd never done dal before. But I went by the recipe of a very nice cookbook called the Hare Krishna cookbook. Do you remember that? It's kind of long and soft bound. You have one of those? Oh, great. Keep it. Keep it. And so I just went moong dal and I just cooked it, and I think I cooked it. I was too shy to ask if Prabhupada liked the dal or not. It was just not my nature. Just, how do you like it? I didn't even want to go that far. Also in terms of his eating, because I know we're sliding into the prasadam part of the program. It was a Ekadashi. We ran into an Ekadashi. And they asked, Prabhupada, this is on our menu. We've got this, and this, and this, and this. Okay, is there anything else you'd like? Said fried peanuts. Okay, so the devotees then fried the peanuts, put some salt on it, and black pepper. That was a new thing for me. But anyways, that he liked. He liked that very much. So, I just want to say a little something about Prabhupada. He is not to be forgotten through the generations. I know some of you are getting initiated and things like that in the community but we have to just keep him in the core. He's the core central figure in our society. So keep that in mind. Prabhupada, Krishna, everyone knows which one is Krishna. I don't need to ask. Right? You all know. The guy with the flute, yes. And then the one's a little bit, on a lighter tone, that's Balaram with his plowshare. We remember them. Remember Bhagavad Gita. And of course, most important of all would be the company of each other, the Sangha. That is so important, that we have each other. Let's say if we were living in this house alone, and there was nobody inside, no one to interact with. You'd be lonely, you'd die of depression. But that will not be the case here. This is going to be a center for many people flowing in and out, and there's going to be like constant activity going on here. Isn't it? That's what we're anticipating. It's a retreat center, right? And we're talking about establishing greenhouses here. Can I ask, have you ever seen a greenhouse before? No?
Oh, I was watching this show.
Is that a house that's painted green?
Yeah.
Is it a house that's painted green?
I watched this show and I saw a greenhouse.
Saw a
I've
greenhouse.
seen a greenhouse doing Papa Pig.
Okay, all right. I think we've got a good idea of people. We're very enlightened to know what greenhouses are. You grow veggies in there,
And
which you can
pumpkin.
offer to Krishna. And which?
Pumpkin.
Pumpkin? You have to have pumpkin. What's your idea of pumpkin, though? When I talk to folks from certain parts of the world, their idea of pumpkin's different from my idea. Can I clarify? I tell you what my idea of pumpkin is. It's those big, roundish, orangish, kind of this colorish type of, squash. That's a pumpkin to me. Is that your idea of pumpkin? Okay. All right. Okay. Very good. So there's this one place. Most of you know I've done some long distance walking. And there's a place, Windsor, Nova Scotia. And that's where they invented ice hockey. They make that claim. That's where it all started from, ice hockey, the famous Canadian iconic sports, But in that town, they have this annual pumpkin race. So you know what they do? It's very interesting, and it might give you some ideas what to do here. Once you establish your Shamakund or Radhakund, and you grow your pumpkins, and pumpkins can be huge. So what they do there in Windsor, they open it up, they take the gore, the stalk out, take the guts out, and then you make it so that you can sit in there, and you have a race, yeah. You have a race to see who gets across to the finish line, the other side of the lake, of the pond, So that sounds like fun. Community activities. That's what we need to do. Would you join? Would you get into one of those?
That sounds a lot of fun.
I've never seen it before, but I'm dying to see it one day. I get there again. So lots of ideas can be flowing from our fertile brains on what you can do in this place, but the main thing is that Krishna is the center. He's at the heart of it all. That's it. It's a place where people can learn to love him, and that's what Krishna consciousness is all about. Learn to love Krishna. We're all loving kind of beings. Anandamaya Vyasat. That means that deep down inside we're loving creatures. But because it is Kali Yuga, and because the world is the way it is, people's love is misdirected. So Prabhupada came here with a lot of self-sacrificing going on to help us to redirect our love, to channel it towards Krishna, his lotus feet. And when we are going to Krishna's lotus feet, what does it mean? We're just taking a humble position, right? I was noticing, Prabhu, you were looking at the lyrics, right? And I was wondering, why is he not interacting with the people, right? Right, why aren't you making the eye contact with everybody, And then I figured out, okay, he's looking at the lyrics off his phone. So that's good, that's good. Nice that you're taking advantage of the songs from the Acharyas. Yeah, thank you so much. I'd like to take a moment. And then for Mahadev and Annapurna, I'm not sure who chanted before you, but thank you for giving us the Maha Mantra, keeping it simple. Keeping that's what I really love. They have a melody, it's really simple, they stick by it, and that's it. Instead of sometimes we have folks that get behind their microphone and they go, that kind of stuff. Classical as it may be, but let's do things inclusively, things that people can follow. That's really important. So, anybody who knows, just to finish up then, we love Vishal and Yashamati. They're so accommodating. They're just like Nanda and Yashoda, even look like. There's so much warmth and love coming from them. They're passionate about this dairy thing. totally passionate about making sure the right milk gets out there, that people get it, that the deities get it, the family gets it, and who knows where it goes to from there. Such a great example because, it's not an easy thing to establish the proper disbursement of proper milk, good milk, quality milk that's not been tampered with. It's hard to find them. We know devotees in North America who've tried the farms, and it doesn't always work out. It's not an easy thing to do. In fact, it's very, very difficult. You're going against the current, against the grain, and just because the law and the policies that are established, it makes it not so easy. So I think it's just wonderful what you're doing, and keep it up. If there's any other people that get inspired, like I get inspired, I'm not going to be opening up a farm, but I just want to get behind you, that's all. Thank you so much for what you're doing, and keep up the good work. And there's a lot of projects that we can all take up and get behind. Like we were talking earlier, I was actually in the pool. That's why I came in a little late. I really needed it for my physical self. They have a wonderful pool. Are you going to do some tours? Not this time around. Okay. So we were talking about all the international students that are coming here to Canada. And I'm talking mostly the ones from India. Wouldn't it be nice if we could facilitate them, make them feel welcome to our ISKCON, to our projects? We really need to look after them. They are attracted to the prasadam, to the kirtan, to the sangha, and in some cases, I think we could do a little bit more, like say residential situations, because they do that with Gopal Krishna Maharaj and projects where they have in Delhi and Noida and everywhere. They have houses for these students, so we can do. I talked to you about that before, didn't I? That the Maharaj does. So anyways, thank you. I won't bore you too much more. I just want to thank you very much. So nice to be around here. This is celebration time. And in case you didn't know, of course you all know it's Christmas Eve, right? Now, one of the reasons why this was a special time is that before Christianity established itself, before Christ, the pagan community, of which there were a lot of people living in Europe and other places, they worship the winter solstice, which is when the day starts to expand and grow. Has a lot to do with the sun movement. And so that was a big festival time for these people. And anybody knows a little bit about pagan culture, it's very Hindu Vedic-like. There's a lot of parallels there. We don't hear too much about it because the public is like, we're overwhelmed by the big commercial push on Christmas itself. So anyways, I saw a skit the other day. The pagans were doing their little worship for the winter solstice. And then Jesus came in with his, few followers and said, oh, we're here, we're going to celebrate. We might even take over. Good. And so they're doing their little ritual, to honor Jesus and his birth and so on like that. And then another group comes in, Santa Claus, and the whole commercialization of it. Santa Claus and his followers is, hey, we're here to celebrate. We're thinking of taking over. And that's really what's happened. A very purely intended, motivated kind of an event, has been transitioned into something quite commercial. So I'm hoping that never happens to our community. That days such as Janmashtami, days such as Diwali, and of course Gurpurnima, that they don't degenerate and become something like very mundane. We should really protect our culture and keep it clean and pure and so on. With the Maha Mantra, with Prasadam and so on. Once somebody starts bringing alcohol, for instance, down the road it could happen. Said, okay, yeah, it's a big drunk party. Has anybody been down to, what's that place down south? Norlands, as they say over there. Norlands, to celebrate Lent. It's a spiritual event, and it's just become a big drunk party. So we don't want that. That's not why Prabhupada came here. That's not what God wants. Let's put it that way. So thank you very much for coming. Thank you for hosting us. And thanks for coming and braving the storm, because it is a bit of a storm. But I just came back from Vancouver for over a week, and oh my God, Hare Krishna, this is nothing from what they have to contend with over there. So, Hare Krishna, thank you for listening. Haribol.
Our mom would like to thank everyone, so. I don't know if we have to work. No, don't worry about it. She's coming. Yeah, I can put it. No, no, the one. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I'll be back.